Howdy folks, and welcome back to World of Tanks with the mighty Jingles. This is part 2 of my T30 tank destroyer review. When I initially did my T30 review, it was without that 155mm gun. I was playing the T30 while I was grinding up towards that gun using this gun, the 120mm gun from the T28 and the T28 prototype. Obviously, that's the other way around. That's the T28 there. And that's the T28 prototype. And I did really enjoy playing the T30 with that gun. And I was quite dubious about upgrading to the 155mm because the 120 worked really, really well. Yeah, fantastic DPM, pretty accurate, decent damage. And so I really wasn't in any rush to get that 155mm. Now, a bunch of people said, well, you know, if you're going to drive this tank, or this tank destroyer, I must make that clear, it's a tank destroyer, not a tank. If you're going to drive this thing with the 120mm gun, you may as well just be driving the T34. There it is. T34 Premium Tier 8 Heavy Tank. And that's actually quite a good comment. In fact, it's a very good comment. Let me just show you the difference between the T30 and the T34. There aren't a lot. They're basically the same tank. There's a 150 hit point difference between the two. They're practically the same weight. They have almost the same engine power, with the T30 having slightly better power to weight ratio. They've got the same speed, the same traverse speed. The armour is exactly the same, except the rear of the turret of the T34 is 100mm thicker with 203mm than the 102 on the rear of the turret of the T30. The turret traverse is the same. The view range, the T30 has 20 meters more. They've got the same signal range. They're basically the same tank. And so people saying, well, you know, if you're going to be using that 120mm gun on the T30, you may as well just be driving a T34. And there is some truth to that. But the guns are different. Well, they're different and they're not different. I'll show you what I mean. There it is. That's the T30's 120mm. That's the gun that I used to grind out the XP for the 155mm gun. And I had fun doing it, and you will too. It's a pretty good grind on the T30. Now, if we switch to the T34 and have a look at the gun on the T34, they're already starting to look pretty similar. One's the T53, the other one's the T53A1. They sound like the same gun to me. Well, as far as damage and penetration go, they are exactly the same gun. They both have 248mm of penetration and 400 average damage. And that's not bad. But the differences are, well, the damage and penetration might be the same, but the T34 only gets 4 rounds per minute on that gun. The T30, 6.19. The T34 has a horrible 3.4 second aiming time, whereas the T30 gets 2.3 seconds. That's really good. I always find aiming time, anybody who's driven the T34 will understand what I'm talking about when I say horrible, horrible aiming time. It's probably the worst thing about the tank. The advantage, in fact the only advantage that the T34 has with this gun over the T30 is the fact that it is much more accurate. 0.35 accuracy versus a pretty poor 0.39 accuracy for the T34. For the T30. In most other respects, that gun on the T30 is actually pretty damn good. However, I did say that as soon as I got the 155mm gun and had some games in it, I was going to look at the T30 again, because you can't really review a tank without using the best gun on it, you know, and this is technically the best gun. However, the T30 does have a problem with this 155mm gun. It is, in my opinion, the worst Tier 9 tank destroyer gun around. It's up there against the likes of the Object 704 with the BL10, the Jag Tiger with the 128mm pack, the Tortoise, which I don't have, but you can have a look at it in the tech tree, with that 120mm L1A1, monstrously fast rate of fire, 259 millimeters of penetration, same average damage, laser-like accuracy, 0.31, 1.7 second aiming time. That is a fantastic gun. There is some pretty stiff competition, and unfortunately, since this is a turreted American tank destroyer, it is always going to get the shitty end of the stick with regards to the stats of the gun, due to it having the single biggest advantage of having a proper turret. Even compared against the T95, the other Tier 9 American tank destroyer, that gun doesn't look very good. Compare it against the BL-10, for example, which is everybody's go-to gun for tank destroyers, which the Russians get at Tier 8 in the ISU-152, and it's not that good compared to the BL-10 on the ISU-152 at Tier 8. So, but you know, you have to take this into perspective, because being almost as good as the BL-10 is a pretty damn good place to be for any kind of gun. So, bearing in mind that also, you know, you're probably doing this thing a disservice if you're not playing it with the 155mm, because it's that 750 alpha damage that makes people respect and fear the T30. All of the tank destroyers that do 750 average damage or more are a source of great fear and trepidation on the battlefield in World of Tanks. And if you're driving the T30 around with the 120mm gun, while it is fun and it is effective, surely this gun, the 155, has to be more effective. Let's have a look. Let's find out. Right, this is the first game I ever played in the T30 with the 155mm. I'm playing with Quickie Baby and Humph. Quickie Baby's in his AMX 5120. Humph in his AMX 50 Foch, so the battle of the Tier 9 tank destroyers. In case you were wondering, if you ever come across a T30 in the wild and you're trying to figure out whether or not he's got the 120 or the 155mm gun, that 155mm, that's actually the short barrel. The 120mm is about a fifth again as long. Although by the time you've squinted and gotten a close enough view, you've probably already found out which gun he's got the hard way. So we're here on Redshire. It's a Tier 9 game. We're top tier. My first outing with this new gun, and I had no idea how it was going to perform. I wasn't expecting miracles, let me just put it that way. It does have probably the worst stats. Well, there's no probably about it. It has the worst stats of any of the 750 average damage guns. Okay, Quickie Baby's probably been spotted by that T71. And an Indian Panzer. So I'm not expecting this thing to have the same rate of fire, accuracy, or aiming time as I'm used to with the 120mm. ...547 meters away a Black Prince, and it misses. This I kind of was expecting. It's not an accurate gun. So Quickie Baby's taken a couple of hits already, but he's chased off that Indian Panzer, you know, as you'd expect. And now he's trying to get his ass into cover around the corner of the river there. I'm sitting up here ready to give him any covering fire I can. And there's a Super Pershing. And aim, and aim, and... Right. 563 damage. This thing's supposed to do 750 on average. That was quite possibly the lowest damage roll I've ever seen a gun of this caliber do. So let's hit side shot on a Super Pershing, and it bounces. The Troll armor tank strikes yet again. A Jagdtiger 88 manages to put a shot through him, but not the 155mm. And straight away I just knew it was going to be one of those games. I'm waiting to reload, and just as I'm about to fire, this guy keeps turning his armor the wrong bloody way. I finally get a hit, and he only has 95 health left. Oh, typical. So that was a complete waste of a shot. Well, it wasn't. It killed him. It took his gun out of play. And it gave Quickie Baby some breathing space. But a 155mm shell just to do 95 damage and get a kill. What a waste. So I've only done 658 damage. Right, 658 damage with 2 shots. There we go. Took out the Indian Panzer. Now that's the sort of thing I'm talking about. But 3 shots fired with this gun, 750 average damage, 1090 damage done. It's disappointing. However, tactically, while the scores are even, we're in the position we want to be now. Quickie Baby's won that corner with the support from us guys up here. And now he's pushing around and trying to light targets up on the ridge line for us. And again, I'm getting kind of apprehensive at this point because I'm discovering the hard way that this is not the most accurate gun in the game. Now, I don't have anything on that T34. But Quickie Baby's reloaded and he should be able to take out a T34. There's that Black Prince again. Now there's not a lot of this guy showing. And that one didn't go anywhere near him. But it was a difficult shot. There was only really the top of his hull and his turret who were sticking up. Quickie Baby takes him out anyway. But he's taking more damage. He's down to 900 health now. And I'm feeling impotent. You know, I've fired a whole bunch of shots here and I've only done 1,000 damage on a gun that's supposed to do 750 on average. So I'm really not getting my money's worth out of it. Scores are, well, we're winning, but it's, you know, we're only winning by 1 kill. So there's still everything to play for. So I'm going to move down here and try to use some of this old hold down thing. 279mm of frontal turret armour with the gun mantlet. I can get a decent hold down position on this hill. And we aim, and that was never going to penetrate. He was reversing back over the slope of the hill. Yes, I fired before it was fully aimed. He was going to get away if I didn't fire. But because of the angle his armour was sloped back at as he reversed over the ridge, even though it hit him, which was lucky, it was never going to penetrate. So it was a waste of a shot. But you never know, you might hit a weak spot. And he was going to get away if I didn't take the shot, so that's why I fired. And now I'm reloaded. And where are they all? They all seem to be on the other side of the ridge, hull down from me. Although there are still a couple of targets up there that we haven't spotted. We're still managing to keep 1 kill ahead of the enemy team. But it was just one of those frustrating games, and it wasn't really the fault of the gun. It would have been, you know, it would have been like this whatever tank I was driving or whatever tank destroyer I was driving. But I haven't had the opportunity to put shots into things yet. We've got a very brave IS-3 going around the flank there, and again T-50-41. All I can really see is his turret. He's pretty much mostly over the other side of the hill from me, and I don't want to fire and give my position away and just without much of a chance of hitting anything, so I hold my fire. We're now 2 kills up. I need to start doing something. I didn't grind out all the XP for this gun to not shoot things with it. So is this really the best place I can be? Well, it's not a bad spot. We just need to detect those guys on the ridge, and then I can start shooting them. But then I see that shot go in, and I'm not certain whether or not I've been spotted. I don't have 6th sense on this tank. That IS-3's on the far side of the hill, and he's gone anyway. Now Quickie Baby, either now or very, very soon, is going to be asking for backup, because he's going to make a run around the corner to the north and try to spot that Type 59 and Tiger and T-54E1. So I'm telling him, yep, no problem. I'm watching the ridge. And he's making his move now. So, you know, no pressure. He's sitting there on about 900 health. He doesn't have a lot of armour. He's going to need some support. There we go. He's pinging the map now, drawing everybody's attention to the ridgeline, and he's about to make his move. And there we go. Tiger. It's only a Tiger. The gun misses. Oh, no. And it's such a long reload. And that is the frustrating thing. And it's not, you know, it's not just the 155mm gun on the T30. It's any tank that has a long reload. The BR10. The T34 with the gun on the T34. You know, it's just so frustrating when you spend all that time aiming. And another low damage roll. It actually took me a long time driving this tank. I mean, it's supposed to do 750 average damage, but I just had the worst luck with the gun. It took me a long time firing this gun at targets before I ever got anywhere near doing the 750 average damage that it claims. I mean, I say it claims. It does do 750 average damage, but it just wouldn't do it for me. Come on, don't let me down. Well, closer to the 750, but still not good enough. And now I'm hit. So that was artillery. Type 59's coming around. 909. It's not inconceivable to kill this guy, and now they're all shooting at me. I've definitely been spotted. There's that WZ111, and again, boom, there we go. 607 damage. I still haven't actually achieved an average damage roll with this gun. However, despite that, I've still done 3,000 damage. So, I find myself in the position of, you know, complaining that I've only done 3,000 damage. Yeah, it's an embarrassment of riches, really. And yet, the gun should be doing better than this. And, yeah, we've lost this now. Oh, my track's blown off. I keep getting hit by this GW Panther. There we go. Again, 627 damage? Really? Where's that 750 you promised me? And I know I've been spotted. I'm getting hammered from all different angles. Oh, front and behind. T71 managed to get round behind me. Well played. Can't really fault him for that. And the T71 made me turn my turret, which gave the WZ111 a clear shot through my side armour and finished me off. So it was a kind of frustrating game. The gun was misbehaving. Never did even an average damage roll, let alone an above average damage roll in every shot I fired. And yet, it's difficult to complain too much because it still did 3,700 damage. Well, if you thought this gun was trolling me pretty hard in the first game that I played with it on Redshire, you ain't seen nothing yet. This game nearly broke me. After this match, I very nearly ripped this gun out of this tank destroyer, sold it, and went back to the 120mm. It was just one of those matches where we've all had them, and it's not the fault of the machine, it's not the fault of the gun. Sometimes that old random number generator just gets its claws into you and kicks you up the arse and will not let go until the game is over. And no matter what you do, the gun just keeps failing over and over and over again. This was one of those games, and it very nearly broke my will to live and carry on using this gun in this tank. Now, the enemy team is, well, it's full of tank destroyers. So we're expecting a fairly heavy tank destroyer presence on this side of the map. Ah, there we go. That Tiger P Looks like he's just run into all kinds of trouble. Now, here we go. Enemy T30. Okay, he's obviously hiding around the side of a house, but he's going to reload, he's going to stick his nose out again, and I'm going to get a shot. Judging by the damage he's doing, I think he may even be using the 120mm. And I bounced. So the shot probably went high and hit his gun mantlet. Okay. First shot fired. Nothing. Oh, and he's tracked. And I'm fully aimed. And it completely misses. Second shot fired. No damage. Now he's on 870, and then the Hummel kills him. Well, okay. Well, there's likely to be plenty more of them up there. Judging by the pounding that Tiger P took. I mean, I know there's an ISU 152 up there somewhere as well. Looks like their lower tier tank destroyers are attacking on that side. There we go. Yak Panther 2 and an ISU. Well, I want to get my money's worth out of this shell. And it bounces. 3 shots fired. 2 of them hit. No penetration, no damage. Now he's on 3 health. Come on. 3 health? Surely I can... Nope. 4 shots fired. 0 damage. Yak Panther 2 on 3 health, and the thing couldn't even hit him. Couldn't even give me a mercy kill. So, 4 shots fired, no damage done for those of us who are keeping scores. I was tearing my hair out at this point. I mean, look at this. 2/3 of the enemy team are dead in a tier 9 game, and I haven't done any damage. It's not through lack of shooting. Oh, well, there we go. An ISU on 142 health. You know, when the target only has 142 health, the shot flies true. Oh, here we go. Yak Panzer 4. You're running the wrong way, Sonny Jim. And again. 6 shots fired. 6 shots fired in a gun. Oh, and then, speaking of the gun, the Tiger 2 just knocked my gun out. 6 shots fired in a gun that does 750 average damage. And I've done 308 damage with those 6 shots. I was tearing my hair out with rage at this point in this game. I was like, that's it, I'm selling this gun. It is rubbish. Okay, here we go. Tiger 2. There's the guy who knocked my gun out. Missed. World of Tanks, why do you do this to me? Oh, now he's on 155 health. And, come on, reload. And he actually repositions to make it easier for me to hit him, and his tracks absorb it. 8 shots. Oh, man. I was raging so hard. If you saw this live stream, this was in Circumflex's live stream. He's there in his E75. Having a great game. I mean, we've all got 2 kills each. Talk about kill stealing. Yeah. 2 kills with 308 damage done. I mean, oh, I was just so frustrated. And look at the... Why are they capping? What, are they frightened we might not win? Here we go. 9th shot. Yeah, I didn't expect it to hit anything, but I was just so... Oh, I was absolutely raging. Just... Circumflex has had to talk me out of selling the gun and going back to the 120mm at this point. I'd had nothing but frustrating game after frustrating game with this gun. And this was easily the worst one. But you can't blame the gun. That was just RNG. And it happens regardless of what you're driving. I've had it happen in every tank. You can't judge a machine based on the random number generator kicking you in the balls. It happens. It's intensely frustrating when it does, but I stuck with it. You know what it's like. Your head is telling you, look, it's not the machine, it's not the tank. The RNG just decided to screw you over. But your heart is saying to you, this thing sucks. God damn it, I want the old gun back. You've got to stick with it. You've got to give it time to have a good game before you make a decision and base it on the average. Anyway, this gun. You shouldn't judge anything on first principles, and I understand that. Just sometimes you just have those games where your gun misbehaves itself. It happens with the BL10 and the Object 704 and the ISU 152. There's no reason why it shouldn't happen in the T30 either. But it's kind of frustrating because I haven't seen what this gun can do yet, but I know that the potential is there. It's like I can't see the the damage of this gun, but I can see it from where I am, even if I'm not there yet, if you know what I mean. So you've just got to keep going. I am constantly getting myself into trouble on this map, starting from this side, going up this way, by stopping in the middle of this field to shoot at things. However, and again, 718 damage. That's a below average damage roll for this gun. And I feel kind of, churlish complaining that I'm only doing 718 damage. That's not a terrible kind of problem to have. That T50-2 was pretty brave. He almost made it round, but the Object 268 saw for him. But, back to the problem that I'm always having on this map, in this position, stopping in the middle of this open field to shoot at things. However, that's not such a terrible idea in the T30 in this particular position, because you can work that ridge line with your gun depression. However, to artillery. Now, this was prior to patch 8.6, so those are two of the biggest artillery in the game. Well, they're still two of the biggest artillery in the game, but in this game they're only tier 8 and tier 7. And I took a hit. Something just bounced off me. I have been spotted. Again, I don't have sixth sense on this thing. Oh, right off the side of the gun mantlet. So, keep moving. I know that if artillery spots a T30 in the open, they won't waste any time switching fire to start shooting at me. So, get hull down, change position. The problem, of course, is because I've stuck around here for so long that now I'm risking taking flanking shots as I move up, because their heavies have arrived. And again, don't know if I've been spotted or not. Always just assume you have. And play accordingly. Oh, if I could nail that Object 704, that would be incredibly useful. Oh, and he's turned. And he's disappeared. Damn it. No. That's one thing that you learn to do pretty early on with these high alpha damage tank destroyer guns. In almost every circumstance, it's never a good idea to take a blind shot. Unless you 100% guarantee that your shot is going to hit a target, it's always a bad idea. Oh, I thought that one was going to miss. As it happens, yet another below average damage roll. I still haven't had one in this tank. The 704 seems to be looking at me. No, he was not. He's just backing off. Can't get him. Very, very dodgy shot at that T54. Let's move up, start looking for other targets. Oh, there's a T95. Okay, he's nasty. He's basically got the same gun as me, except his gun is better in almost every respect, other than damage and penetration. But it looks like he's been outflanked, and wow, they made short work of him. There's the object, but the aiming time is just not going to be good enough. Ah, okay. Our base is about to get overrun. Well, maybe not. We've got a 50B and a T95 defending the base, but those are not good odds. So I'm going to head back to base. Now, this is one good thing about the T30. It is reasonably fast. And most of this journey is downhill all the way. So I can do 40 kph coming back here. And now, don't have a shot at the T110. He's behind cover. But if I move forward a little more, I should be able to see the E100 and the T62A. Possibly take shots at those. Okay, that's what we're talking about. Now, you've got to let this thing aim. Now, come on, give me an above average damage roll. Well, finally I get an above average damage roll. That's the first time it's happened. 846 damage. Hoping to get enough to kill that guy was probably asking for a little too much. But left him on 40 odd health, so quite happy with that result. Now, T62A. I just need to aim, and we need somebody to spot him. There he is. Oh, long range. Oh, he's on 8 health, and I hit him, and all it does is blow his tracks off. But artillery should be able to finish him off, surely. No, yep, there we go. Batchat 155 killed the T62A. And that's a win. Oh, can I steal this kill? Can I? I think I can. Yes! Oh, good. So, again, only 2,500 damage done. But finally got this thing to roll higher than 750. So, not a fantastic game. I didn't do a massive amount. But I felt, and again, the same problem that I always have on this bloody map. When I'm moving, if you follow the cursor, when I'm moving up this hill, the second I see something appearing down here, I immediately stop and try to take pot shots at it instead of getting up the hill into the town. But as it happened, my incompetence in getting my ass moving ended up actually not being such a bad thing, because I was able to get back down here and help defend the base in time, and we got a comfortable win. And it was kind of like the dam breaking. Once I started getting good games, and well, not so much good games. I mean, I had good games in the tank, but the tank just kept letting me down, or rather, the gun kept letting me down. But once I started getting decent results with the gun, they just kind of kept coming, and it was definitely worth sticking with it. I mean, it's a pretty heavily tier 10 game. I've seen worse. I've seen tier 10 games where it's been 13 tier 10s and 2 very unfortunate looking tier 9s. So this could have been significantly worse. That Batchat's going to get away if I don't take the shot. And there you go. The RNG works both ways. Not a fully aimed shot at a manoeuvring Batchat hits him 807 damage. It swings both ways. You got to take the rough with the smooth. Any number of times you've been fully aimed with a gun with monster penetration, hitting a light tank, and you just watch the shot sail off into nowhere or bounce off. The reverse also happens. Everybody remembers the times when it doesn't come together because they're so frustrating. But the old random number generator swings both ways. Tier 10s everywhere. Don't know which one to shoot at. E100's not making himself a target. The IS-7 isn't making himself a target. Well, if the T44 is all I've got to shoot at, then I'll shoot at the T4. Oh wait, there's the IS-7. Come on. And there's the Batchat. He's chasing the pattern. And somebody else kills him. IS-7's backed up. Could have had a shot at that T34 if I'd been patient. But look at this, targets absolutely everywhere. Which one to shoot at? T62A? Bounced. Well, dodgy shot. There was not much of him sticking up, and this is not an accurate gun. At least it hit him, but T62A's turrets are so incredibly troll. T110E5 seems to have that T34 on the run. And again, sitting here looking for targets. I've only actually hit one tank so far. Oh, T62A again. Boom, there you go. Below average damage roll, but hey, 658 damage is welcome in anybody's money. So we're up to 1465 damage done. Oh, there was a T44 there, but he's... Well, I'm not reloaded anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Unfortunately, look at those scores. We're losing 6-1. It's pretty much just Ike and Quickie Baby holding the centre. Everybody else is dying. I need to reload this gun. Come on. T44 is going to get away. Reload. There we go. Right on the money with the average damage, 756. Losing 1-8. I mean, really? Come on, reload this gun. Reload this gun. E100 is going to get away, isn't he? He is. Damn it. Now, I found myself... There we go. Oh, he only had 500 health left and I've hammer-racked him. So you find yourself in the lucky position of having plenty of targets to shoot at. Unfortunately, you find yourself in that position because everybody else in your team is dead. So it's a question of getting the most bang for the buck out of the shots that you have left. There is no way we're winning this. 310 down. So it's just a question of putting your shots where they're going to do the most good and earn you the most credits and salvage the most that you possibly can out of this horrible, horrible defeat. That keeps the bat chat alive a little longer. So, what to do? You got a low health Foch that you can get a kill, but it's only going to get you 233 damage. Or you can get your money's worth out of the shot and kill the 48. Here we go. I know that this Foch is going to get a shot into me. I can turn around and kill him, or I can get my money's worth out of the shell and do 800 damage to the bat chat. So, yeah. It's one of those games. But what's important is that the gun's behaving itself at last. 4,387 damage on a defeat. Yeah, it's frustrating, but the gun behaved itself. They're finally getting to see what this machine can do when the gun does what it's supposed to do. And it's encouraging. It's very encouraging. I mean, there was a horrible defeat, yeah, but that's not the point. The point is the devastation that this gun can do when it behaves itself. So, we've had games where this gun just refuses to hit anything or damage and penetrate anything that I fire it at. We've had games where it will hit stuff, it will penetrate and damage them, but it won't even approach the average damage roll. We've had games where the gun behaves itself, but the team sucks and we lose anyway. I think we probably owe it to ourselves to have a game in the T30 with a 155mm gun where the gun mostly behaves itself and we actually get a win. So, here is that game. We're here on Mountain Pass. We're in a Tier 9 tank platoon with circumflexes and Foch U. This AMX-46, he's being a hell of a lot braver than I would be if I was in a Tier 7 tank destroyer in this kind of lineup. I can see the position he's rushing for, but I don't know if it's worth losing half your health over, son. But, you know, your tank, your money, your repair bill. Your call. There we go. Yeah, that looks like it's going to leave a mark. So we're making up to the corner. Trying to keep an eye on what's coming over the bridge at the same time. AMX-12T. And I'm going to do myself 600 damage here, but artillery, wow, what the hell. He's dead. I had nothing else to shoot at that point. Again, keep checking over to the left. And that's... whoa, that was not good. His second shot damages my turret ring is jammed. Right. I cannot point this gun anywhere other than straight ahead. Watch this 12T. Thank you. he could have driven anywhere but where he did and been safe. And I wouldn't have been able to shoot him. And he drove right into my gun. And I finally get the turret ring up and I'm waiting to reload. IS-3, bang, 782 damage. It left him alive, but it was an above average roll. I can't complain. So, yeah, you made it over the bridge. Now you have 82 health left. Was it really worth it? I'm backing off here because I know there's a Foch around the corner and there's an ST1 coming around. And I'm also very, very wary of... oh, really? Okay. If that's what you want to do. And again, a below average damage roll, but it was never going to one-shot kill an Indian Panzer anyway, so I don't really care. Now, they're rushing me. The Foch is going to put one into me. I aim for his rangefinder, and it penetrates. 702 damage. Below average again, but again, was never going to one-shot kill him anyway. Now, this was, well, luck or incompetence, you be the judge. He puts one into me. The ST1, before I get the chance to fire, artillery nails that guy, and the ST1 takes a hit from me and manages to drive around into the one spot he could go for where he can't shoot me, and gives me a chance to take cover behind this rock and reload. Oh, thank you. You can be on the enemy team every time. And then he gives me a shot at his side. And look at chat. The Foch is accusing me of being a gold noob T30. Well, you can see I'm not using gold. And it wasn't even me who killed him. He died to artillery. What an idiot. Oh, and there's the 5120 who very, very rudely blew my tracks off and jammed my turret ring, so I feel it's only fair of me to return the favour and kill him. 4 kills. 4,000 damage done. 4,043 to be precise. And it's nice to have fun with, you know, well, with any machine, especially when you've had such a run of poor games, whether that be down to your own poor decision making or the gun just trolling you really, really hard. And this was pretty much... I felt like I needed a fun game with the T30 and the 155mm, because I hadn't really had one up to this point. I mean, I had games where I'd done monstrous amounts of damage, and we'd lost anyway. You know, we all have them. But I'd had a lot of games in this machine with the 155mm gun, with the old RNG just grabbed me by the nose and kicked me in the ass over and over and over again. And you've seen some of them. The map on the game on Fishing Bay in particular was just a nightmare. But I stuck with it, and it was worth sticking with it, because, hell, if I hadn't stuck with it, I wouldn't have had a game like that. And in case you're wondering what a good game looks like in the T30, there you go, 57,000 credits earned, 3,000 XP. Most damage, most XP, 8 shots fired, 8 hits, 8 penetrations. I'll buy that for $1. So, I suppose to sum up, I'd have to say, you've really got to get this gun for the T30, because you're just not really playing a Tier 9 tank destroyer if you're still using the 120mm gun. I mean, the 120mm gun works, and I have had some success using it, and it is a lot of fun. It pushes out a lot of DPM. But it's the gun that you grind with to get the 155. And it's a very, very good grind. You will enjoy doing it. It's not like, you know, trying to unlock the modules on the VK3001P. It's nowhere near as bad as that. The 120mm is a good gun. And I was tempted to stick with it. But I didn't. I went for the 155mm because I felt like I owed it to you guys to review it. And despite having some initial problems, I grew to like it. I mean, it's like when you first get the BL10 on the ISU 152 and you shoot somebody and do 850 damage. Suddenly you're in love. you're really not doing the T30 any favours if you're still using the 120mm gun once you have access to the 155, because with these tier 9 tank destroyers that have access to the huge alpha damage guns, that is what it's all about, and that gun and the damage that it does is the reason why people are terrified of T30s. It's because they can just unleash so much hurt in one shot, and you can't really do that with the 120mm. And so yeah, definitely the 155mm is worth it. It's definitely worth it. It's not the best tier 9 tank destroyer gun in the game. In fact, it's probably the worst tier 9 tank destroyer gun in the game. But being almost as good as the BL-10 on the ISU 152 and Object 704 isn't bad. You know, there are plenty of tanks out there that wish they had guns that were almost as good as the BL-10. The T30 does have a gun that's almost as good as the BL-10, and I've had a lot of fun driving it. So I hope you've enjoyed the review, or the continuation of the review. As always, folks, take care on that battlefield, and I'll catch you next time.